Hi, everybody.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Hi, Witty.
I'm good. Welcome to the weekly Africa podcast news show. I'm mikeymushi.
And I am Zelalem. Welcome to our podcast.
Yes,
Hello,
this
everyone.
is a show.
Hi, Joanna. Hi, Ingrid.
This is the show where we talk about the happenings, the things that took place in Africa, where we give our personal opinions, and we discuss.
Yes.
So, we'll start with updates. So, first, helping us to reach 1 million subscribers. It's a huge honor. And this week, we were invited by YouTube to talk to some creators on YouTube Shorts and how to be an African creator. So, I will upload that video, the summary of that video next week. And that was our our week on Tunachiki and Wanga and on your side.
Yeah, and you did a great job. I was there as well, and you gave us a lot of gems. And for content creators, I saw a lot of people appreciating what you were telling them, because obviously for you to reach 1 million subscribers, you must be doing something right and you know what you're talking about. So it was really nice also being there and watching everyone, talking about how they were able to get to point A to point B. It was nice. It was really nice. So I just wanted to say that. And this week it was my birthday. So for me, I took 2 days of work. Thank you. So I turned 29. I'm not ashamed. Maybe next year I'll be like, I don't want to say, but for now, I'm okay with it. I'm very happy, and that was my week basically. It was a good week. Give thanks.
Wow, that's great. Happy birthday, and everybody in the chat. Everybody in the chat, I'm sure they wish you a huge happy birthday. So for us, we also have a special video that I did, an interview on our other podcast called Mansa Talks, where I go in depth and I tell people the tricks and tips of having a successful African YouTube channel, right? So we go in depth. I think the interview is like a 2-hour interview, and it has practical tips, not the cliche work hard, be consistent. Like we go in depth and
we would have 24 hours in a day.
Yes, yeah. So that video I'm sure will be helpful for you guys. So if you are interested in starting your own YouTube channel, if you're interested in becoming an African creator, I think it will be very helpful. Okay, those
She is
announcements said,
contending. I read somewhere you look like you are 20. Oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you.
so thank you, Chad, for wishing happy birthday and thanking us for just saying hi to our podcast. So, without further ado, Wongel, you'll start us off. What happened in Africa this week?
Well, okay, we're gonna start from this DRC Rwanda situation that has come up. It's something I personally didn't expect. Um, so there were protesters in DRC, the youth specifically. They are protesting, Rwanda, basically their neighboring country, another country in Africa, and they're saying or they're alleging that Rwanda is getting involved or supporting a rebel group in Democratic Republic of Congo. And they were explaining or expressing how much they're not happy about that. And I get it. If that's true, then it's definitely not something we support, we condone. It's just, for me, it makes me really sad to see this, because these are brothers and sisters. We're supposed to be uniting. We're preaching unity, 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 unity. And then when you see something like this, DRC protesting Rwanda's involvement in supporting a rebel group, like, that's just mind-boggling to me. But I want to hear from you. What do you think the truth is? Do you actually believe, they were also naming Kagame and blaming him? So do you actually believe this is going on? What are your thoughts on this?
So the Rwanda and their Congo, especially Goma, Eastern Congo kind of situation has been going on for years, and that the accusations are not new. They've been going on for decades. People are accusing Rwanda of feeding off DRC. So Rwanda, this is what they're alleging. Rwanda is a small country. It doesn't have a lot of natural resources. So they support these rebel groups in Eastern DR Congo. The rebel groups go, they have mines, they loot all the things, and they use Rwanda to ship off the gold and the other minerals. And people have been saying Rwanda has been surviving on that ever since. It's just surviving on exploiting the instability of DR Congo, right? So these things, these rumors, these allegations have been going on for the longest time, and they say Kagame is behind all this and all. And my opinion on that is that I'm actually on the fence. I really don't know, because people, I've got friends in DR Congo. They are adamant, like it's like tomorrow is Saturday. They are sure Kagame is doing that. Rwanda is exploiting DR Congo through using these proxy rebels, right, to steal from Rwanda. And on the other side, Rwandese are saying no, like the rebel groups are on their own. Kagame has denied this. So for me, this one I cannot say per se which side I believe or what's actually happening. But yeah, that's the current situation of what has been happening. Because Eastern DRC Congo has been unstable for so many centuries, not centuries, so many decades, right? And there's still no resolution right now. This rebel group M23 still keep getting like funding, still keep causing problems, attacking people. So yeah, I'm actually on the fence on this one. And the current escalation that's happening is as a result of this, because things are really getting out of hand. I think it might even turn to a full-scale military conflict. So yeah, that's the take on that.
Do you think this protest is misdirected, as in, instead of, the Western powers that have a lot to gain by DRC, it's not just Rwanda, let's say, for argument's sake, if DRC is in turmoil, there are so many powers that are benefiting from that, right? Including these organizations like the Apples, the Teslas, all those companies also are benefiting directly from their insecurity.
Yeah, so the allegation is that it's actually Rwanda that's enabling that. Like it's Rwanda that's enabling the Apples and these other guys to steal from their Congo with this rebel group. So that's the allegation. So maybe the guys are protesting is like once we solve this, all that exploitation will stop. So maybe that's why they said enough is enough. Because so like every time I post a video on Rwanda, every time I post a speech on Kagame, every time like any news that touches Rwanda, there's always some DR Congo guys saying, oh, Rwanda is sponsoring rebels, Rwanda is exploiting Eastern DRC. So like those sentiments have always been there, right? And there's some adamant, they email me, they send me proofs and documents, right? And because all these are unverified, we usually don't like report them or share them. But because this is like my personal opinion, I can tell you guys about it. And also my opinion on this is that I'm still like on the fence. I really don't know what's going on. But the way you're saying that it's like it's Western driven, they're saying the West is using Rwanda to exploit.
Yeah, so basically they're saying that they're just a puppet, right? Like they're not saying that they're the masterminds of this.
No.
So yeah, so for me still, like I know you're on the fence, but you also told me that you've been following the story. So for me, this is new. All I knew was like they were unhappy or like there was something between them because of the Tutsi and Hutu, like because they share a border where some of them got killed because they have they share tribes, right? So I knew there was that kind of animosity, but I didn't know that the accusation was this big, because this is big though. Like yes, we could say because at the end of the day, like we will call out the West, we will call out white supremacists, but if it's among us, I think for me it goes deeper. It hurts more, and it's more effective if it's between us or from us, within us. So this really shocked me, to be honest. I was really shocked.
And the thing for like the Rwanda and DR Congo. So DR Congo is I think the second largest country in Africa, right? Like it's technically the richest country in Africa, right? Rwanda is the like one of the smallest African countries, in Africa, and one of the smallest countries in the world. It's landlocked, right? So the questions that DR Congo, like Congolese people have always asked is that why is our small neighbor having all these riches, right? And us, a rich country, we have nothing. So they've always been accusing Rwanda. So it can just be a case of a jealous neighbor, right? So or then it can be a case of a neighbor who's stealing from a weak, like a more disorganized neighbor. So there are those two, and I'm purposely sitting on the fence for this one, because like these things are very sensitive. So before you choose a side, who's on the right, what's going on, we really need to really need to do a full on investigation, so I can confidently say yes, it's Rwanda that has been stealing from DR Congo, causing this as like civil unrest as an excuse to continue exploiting DR Congo. Or it can be like it's just that these Congolese people are like they're corrupt, and it's not Rwanda's fault that they are doing better than their neighbor. There are those two sides, right? Yeah. So
well, it can also be both. You see, it can also be both, because even in DRC, somebody had to allow it. If we're saying this is happening, somebody has to allow it. Somebody has to be in it, like in that whatever agreement is there behind the scenes. It can't just happen like that. Like another country can't come in and impact you that much. There must be someone in a powerful place that is allowing this to go on, even if we say that's the case.
Then also this comment by Kemet Gaming also has reminded me. Even Museveni is usually in the mix when it comes to those allegations. So he says Congo and Rwanda situation was all about the resources. Both Museveni and Kagame have been looting their Congo for 30 years in Bushu. So so like even Rwanda, the DRC has also accused Rwanda of sponsoring some other rebel groups, right? Yeah, so this case is not new. There's always been those allegations, and maybe now the Congolese people have said enough is enough, and hence the protest, right? Yeah, because talk to any Congolese person and mention Rwanda or Uganda, they'll most likely have a negative sentiments towards them, that like they're taking from us, they're sponsoring these groups. Yeah.
And also, you have to understand, if you're consuming local news or somebody's telling your neighbors are talking about that, you're most likely going to have like the same kind of attitude towards that topic. So I don't blame them for them to have this kind of, idea. It's because they've heard it. Maybe they're convinced, even if it's happening or not. So for me, you are right. Like, I agree with you. We need to know about it more for us to say this or that. But at the end of the day, we're not here, or we're not in the business of choosing sides. We are going to always choose the side of the truth. Like, we are gonna say, if this was a BS, we have to call it out, right? If this also has something or some truth to it, we need to expose that as well. But I thought either way you look at it, it's disheartening, because you would want us to unite, and if we can't even, agree on certain things like this, it's going to be harder. But the unfortunate thing is, the people that are going to benefit from this, like them fighting, is outsiders, right? Like, if a full-blown war comes, who's going to benefit? They're going to say, let us send our troops, and then we won't.
And all the cases of UN peacekeepers stealing like millions worth of gold and diamonds from DR Congo. Yeah. So you're right. Like both Rwanda and DR Congo have everything to lose if this escalates, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So, but we'll follow up this story and. Actually start, because I think even this week we've posted 3 news topics on that. So there are some Rwandese soldiers who are arrested in DR Congo, right? They were being asked what they're doing there. So for diplomacy, DRC has said it will release the soldiers. The African Union has called for peace and dialogue between the 2 countries. I think the foreign minister of Rwanda also made a speech to de-escalate the current situation, right? Yeah, so I'm sure nobody wants war, but this, as you know, anything to do with DR Congo, it's complicated. It's never straightforward. Who the bad guy is, who's stealing from who's actually controlling this, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm sure even if Rwanda is guilty of doing that, funding these rebel groups is usually like a lot of money, and they need to be bankrolled by somebody who can do it. So those accusations of Museveni being a puppet of the West, and maybe now Kagame is joining that group, right? That money has to come from somewhere, right? So yeah. But before we accuse anybody or do anything, we must go in depth and see.
Yeah,
and see what's
and we're not accusing. We will always stand with the truth and unity. That's the main thing. But at the end of the day, we also need to talk about it as part of our job as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, okay. So, and I'm sure this topic we can talk about it for 2 hours, because it's like so complex and so complicated. But let's go to our second story. So, for my second story, it's more of a culture news, not more politics. But Egypt this week unveiled almost 300 guys and mummies to the world in media, where they dug up these preserved coffins. Esophagus is just like an Egyptian coffin, right? To present it to the world. So we posted this story just to to emphasize that these were African, like our African ancestors, and we always pose this question: is it right for us to show, like to dig up our dead ancestors and show them to the world for money? Because they'll take those sofa guys to the like Cairo Museum, sell them for a buck. You know, sell people to people to pay to go see them. So the question is us doing this, embracing our culture, showing people how great we were, this is our culture, or is it an African to dig up your old ancestors and try to sell it to white people, right? So like that's the question here. So give us your opinion.
This is tough. Like I understand how important it is to learn about our history, to study it, to explore it, and to really show off how great we were, right? Like I get that. I really get that. But at the same time, when we're playing with dead people like the mummies, and like some of them have like warnings on them, like they're like don't disturb this, I feel like they're even, this is my spiritual side of me, it's like you're inviting something. Like I feel like I know they're also benefiting monetarily, like they're getting money, they're using this to get more funding, money. I believe, which president was it before LCC that wouldn't allow this to happen?
Mubarak. Yeah.
Okay, so during that time they respected the dead. They will never do that, because at the end of the day, Egypt, whether you like it or not, they're still gonna have tons of tourists. Look at the pyramids. They don't need to dig up anything. They have like architecture and culture that is right there, like you can see. And there are so many mummies that were already dug up. There are so many artifacts that are in the museums right now, right? So at some point, I guess you have to know when to say enough is enough. If you remember when Egypt did this whole ceremony, when was it, last year? This grand ceremony of them transporting the mummies to another place. A lot of people were skeptical. They're like, I don't know if this is the right thing. I don't think so. And I get it. We have to respect our, the dead. And also we're exploiting them, because when they were being buried, there was a reason. They were mummified. Like, you're not even respecting the history behind it, the reasoning behind why they did what they did, because you're opening it up. Like after hundreds of years, like there's a reason why it happened that way. There's a reason why those people that were living during that time believed we need to put our people this way. We need to, there's a whole process of mummifying them, and everybody had what do you call it? Like a hierarchy. This one will go in the pyramid. That one, like, so it's like you're disrupting it. You're also, you're saying, yes, I'm digging it up to show my history and to know more, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, you're also disrespecting the same history that you're trying to study. So it's a bit, for me.
So let me tell you a scary story. So like I think in the 1940s, there were these grave robbers, right? There were like, I think like 3 Americans and 2 British guys, right?
In Egypt.
Like they went in Egypt, then they stole a coffin, I think of Khufu or something. Then there was an inscription, something like, if you open this, you will die within 7 cycles or 7 moons. And the scary thing is that everybody in that dig site died of mysterious causes. Like I tried to find that story, but just go on YouTube and search Egyptian mummy curse. Like I think they'll come up of how and they all died in the most weirdest, mysterious ways ever. And people are saying it's the curse that got them. Yeah. So for me, like with these things, like you never know, and you're right. It's kind of like we need to show the African civilization was this great, sophisticated civilization, right? That controlled majority of the ancient world, right? We need to have proof, right? Because these days they try to whitewash things. So even today, it's always good when you learn new things and share it to other people. I learned the greatest Roman Empire the greatest Roman emperor, right, of the Roman Empire was not Julius Caesar, was not Augustus. He was an African emperor from Algeria, like dark-skinned, right?
Is
And
it
he's
the
the one
one
who's
that they found a statue in the UK or something? There's
yeah,
a
yes,
statue
yeah,
of
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
that one, right? Yeah, so him is the most successful, and in the museum in the UK, he's whitewashed, like actually whitewashed. They put white paint on him to look so that he looks white, right? So it's good. It's good to for us to show how developed, how sophisticated ancient Africa was, right? Yeah, but in the other sense, some things, as you said, are not made to be are not meant to be disturbed, right? So if like I'm sure like those guys are experts, they know how to expertly remove the mummies and treat them with the respects and the traditions. But you know, with these things, you like you never know. You can just move a mummy badly, and your family is cursed for 400 years, and you don't know why. So yeah, so yeah. So with that one, like it's tricky. But for me, if I was working in that team, I wouldn't personally touch them. I'll do maybe the inventory, you know.
I feel you, and I'm like shocked. Like there are actual stories like that because for me, my favorite movie growing up was The Mummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember even in that movie, like there was
Yes.
like
Yeah.
something written. I guess they
Like
were
this story.
taking it from real life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
and they
Yeah,
die,
and
and yeah,
it's exactly like that. So just read up that story and like it's actually fun. Yeah, like it's an
it's
interesting story because
oh interesting
it was
actually.
intrigue. Yeah,
Not
yeah, yeah,
fun or
yeah. Not
funny,
fun.
but interesting.
Not fun. It's not fun that they got cast and died, but it's an interesting story.
Yeah,
Okay,
Michael, don't be dark. Okay,
let's see what Shonji. Before we go to our next topic, let's see what Shonji is saying.
okay,
Why
okay.
Africans seem to forget people in the Caribbean or the Americas. We fight for your freedom, but never hear any mentions. We always mention you guys, like this is like an African and an African diaspora channel. Like I think we
Like
always cover
literally, we
50-50.
mention
Yeah,
every podcast. I would even say every podcast we
yeah,
incorporate Black Americans, Caribbeans. We even talk about it. Even
yes,
last podcast we talked about the shooting. No, that tells me Sarji is new, but it's okay. It's okay. Welcome
yeah, yeah,
to our channel.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure
Maybe it's new. Maybe it's
you'd learn.
new.
Yeah, you're new, that's why.
Okay.
But we really talk about it, and our focus is Africa and the diaspora. Pan African doesn't just mean just African continent. It means the
Yeah.
Caribbean, the US, the ones in the UK, in Europe, everywhere.
Yeah.
The ones in the East. Every Black person that shares the same, ancestry, we care about us. So you're wrong about that. So do we?
Okay.
Would we go to the next?
Yeah. Let's go to the next story.
Okay. So the next story is about a protest that was held in South Africa by the EFF, right? And that protest was about basically telling France, leave Africa alone, just leave us and go back to your country is basically the sentiment. And also Julius Malema gave a memorandum to the French embassy telling them like an actual letter that says leave Africa. So this protest comes after what France is being accused of all over the Sahel region, all over those colonies, former colonies that France had, and they're still very much so involved in their countries, in their affairs, in their currencies, in their politics. And so South Africa is standing up and saying, leave our brothers alone, which I love because South Africa was colonized by the British and the settlers are right from there. So when apartheid. So like for them, I can be wrong, but France is not, I don't think is involved as much in South Africa, but they still decided or chose to stand up and talk about this, stand up and, say this on behalf of their brothers and sisters. It shows me that they see us like we're one, and it's not oh, that's you, that's I'm here over there. Of course, there are people that think that way, and we we see them here and there. But I love that EFA made that statement by protesting France shady business in Africa.
And talking about France shady business in like in Africa, like I think today we'll even do a news piece where Haiti is telling France to return all its money that it had to pay after they gained independence, right? So yeah. So
Yes.
we see like France has been just not interfering in West Africa. France has been interfering in Africa, right? So even if South Africa is not directly involved, it's like an African issue, and people of color
It is an African
issue. Yeah. So like for those who do not know what you're talking about, France forced Haiti to pay for all the damages and all the development they did in Haiti when they were colonizing them. Well, Haiti beat France and kicked out, right? And it was so much money, and it ended up crippling the economy of Haiti. So now Haiti is like, hey, wait, it doesn't work like that. We need that money back with interest and considering accounting for inflation, right? So it's going to be like billions and billions of dollars that France owes back to Haiti. Yeah, so it's a good thing what South Africa is doing, and Julius Malema, and I can't wait for him to be the president of South Africa, because a courageous person like that would also encourage other presidents who are under the thumb of France to speak out, or the people to put people who are not in charge of France, because France technically is such a small country with no natural resources, right? It's, I think, natural resources, the exploitation of other countries, right? Yeah, the islands they own, like they still colonize. You know, there's some islands that France still owns through the colonial conquest, right? So other than that, France is just a land, like, is it landlocked? I'm not sure.
No, I
But
think
France is just
they're not landlocked.
yeah. France is just like a basic normal European country, and through, and it's gotten most of its wealth through pillaging others, through theft, and exploiting other countries. So it's a good thing that more people are waking up. Haiti, South Africa, and it's a good thing that also it's people who are not directly under France. So like it shows that it's a more African problem, not a West African problem, or not a Francophone problem.
Yeah, that's why I love the protest, because it just shows solidarity, right? We usually shout louder when we're touched, like directly touched. So I love the EFF, and EFF, we have to give them credit. They're usually quick and swift with their addressing these situations. Whenever something happens, you'll see them in the front lines talking about it, and sharing their thoughts on it. Not a lot of organizations or parties or governments have, like, AU rarely speaks up. So yeah, they're definitely gonna help people with, how when somebody else takes the first step, it encourages you. So they're definitely leading by example.
Yeah, definitely. So for the next story is we're going to do there's a racist club in Kenya finally closes down because of government investigation. So to recap, like I think last week, there's this club in Kenya, like a nightclub for dancing, right? So they were segregating the patrons based on the color of their skin. So Kenyans had one line, then Indians and white people had one line, and they were only admitting white people, right? So the video went viral on social media, and Kenyans rose up, and as a result, that club is closed, right? And after this, after that story, like other friends of mine, especially like international friends, right, from other countries, say that, yeah, I remember that club was doing this. I remember, like, they were not surprised, right? Some were like, oh yeah, they always do this. They get in trouble, they close, they bribe somebody, the club is open again, right? So for me, this story, I'm not shocked of the racism, but I'm happy for the response that Kenyans had because no Kenyan was having none of this, right? The governor of Nairobi closed the club. They're going to do an investigation, and people are going to face the consequences, right? So, at least, like the racism, this these Western countries try to export their racism to Africa, right? If it's an institution owned by like a white person, they try to instill their racist values towards the patrons. Like, oh, we don't serve Africans, or if an African comes, they don't even bother to, small petty racist things like that. But I think Kenyans have had enough. Yeah. So I'm sure you heard of this story.
Yes, I've heard of the story. And first of all, I want to say I think I've been there like twice before. So, and I remember thinking, like, wow, the scale, like, as in, I can almost say it's 50-50, as in 50% white people and 50% Kenyan. So I'm like, it didn't click in my head, as in, how am I in Kenya where majority of the people are Black Kenyans, and in this club or bar, there's just so many white people. It's like most of the, at least the night I went, was mostly white people, and I was wondering how. Now it explains it. If they're really doing that, obviously they're picking who they're letting in. Maybe that's why there were. It seemed like there's a lot of white people in there. And let me ask you this: is the owner Kenyan? Do you know who's the
So
owner? That
the owner is a Chinese, like I think millionaire or a billionaire, but yeah, he's married to like a Kenyan former Kenyan presenter, something Morgan.
Are you
Like
serious? I did not
yeah, yeah,
expect
yeah.
that.
So this yeah, yeah. So like I think the idea was like white people pay more or spend more, because even some women were saying they get kicked out of the club, like because the boss think they're not spending. So this kind of behaviors has been going on in that club for long, and so like the thing I know is for me, I'm not like I don't know so much about these clubs, but my friends who go out were like, of course it's a racist like it's a racist institution. So that was the like I had so many WhatsApp chats like on that, like people not shocked or surprised, like, oh, I wonder it's how they open again, right? Because I think that has been happening for so long.
Okay, I have another question for you. After
Mhm.
seeing this racism story, I was scrolling down, the tweet that went viral, and I'm reading comments to see what the people are saying. I read a bunch of Kenyans saying that this doesn't shock me. Literally, there are areas in Kenya that they don't allow Black Kenyans
Yes.
to rent
Yeah.
a house from, and
Yeah.
you only will be allowed if you're white or Indian. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. Things like that happen. Like in these diplomatic circles, these expatriate circles, like they happen. Like they make their own world, they make their own racist communities where they only support each other's business or do not allow somebody of a certain type of skin color to live there. Yeah, so this things like this happen.
But you see, supporting each other's business, I'm all for it. Let them support their own. We need to support our own. It's not up to them to support us. We can't force them to do that unless and otherwise, I mean, the government comes up with this thing where that's not individually, like, we can't do that. We can only
No,
hold ourselves
no. But in
accountable,
Kenya,
right?
like you can't do that. You must serve everybody equally, right?
No,
There's
no,
no
no, I don't
segregation.
mean no. I don't mean they should be allowed to not serve. I'm saying me as Wengel, I'm allowed to support if I want to support Mike, you versus another person that came and opened a
Yeah,
business. Like, that's
yeah.
definitely up to me. Like, this is my individual right to support. That's my money, is what I'm saying. So if they want support with their own money, I don't care. We should do the same. If anything, we should learn from them. But my thing is, for me in my own country to go wanting to rent a house and being told, or wanting to get a service and being told, No, this is
Yeah.
preserved or reserved for a different skin tone in Kenya. Okay,
But
then
they don't, but they
this
don't,
is
but
a
they
different
don't, but they don't,
conversation.
but like the thing with this, they don't do it directly. It's like, it's this kind of indirect racism. It's like, like we have certain criterias, or you must get this thing and this thing. Like they make it harder for Africans.
Oh, they
But
don't
it's
vocalize like it's not
yeah.
said.
So they use these things like for the club. They're like, oh, two lines, like kind of like that. So it's more like, oh, like you must be approved with a board. Like for you, like especially for property or an apartment, oh, the board of trustees must approve you, but the board is just filled with white people. Then of course you'll be rejected, right?
Wow. I think the government needs to crack down. The same way, by the way, we need to appreciate when our governments are doing something right. As you said, the governor closed that place up. Like there was no negotiation. They're like, you're closed until further notice, until the investigation comes through. And we know that you actually didn't do this on purpose. And this is not a racist bar. It's going to be closed. So that's something that we should appreciate, because usually, it's like it never happened. Nobody cares after it happened. Like people make noise and then that's it. The government never gets involved. The police never gets
Yeah.
involved, and that's that. So the government doing this is something that we need to appreciate. But now that this has come up, so many stories are coming out. So those
Yeah.
stories need to be addressed. Maybe the government can do like a surprise visit to complexes and be like, I wonder why all this 20 apartment blocks are filled with Indians. Like, I
Yeah.
think we should at least try.
And also, a few years back, we did. There's this Chinese restaurant that was only allowing. I don't think it was not allowing Kenyans. I think over like past 7. So like it was only allowing Chinese like people to visit that restaurant. So things like this happen so much, and then the bad thing with people and Kenyans is that people get upset over sometimes. Then the news goes, something else happens, they forget. So within next month, everybody will forget about that club, and everybody will like move on to the next thing until something like this happens again. Yeah.
That's unfortunate, though. So I'll continue while you're drinking. So
Okay.
the story I want to talk about next is about the double standards of the West being called out by African leaders. And this comes after the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and now they're in a tough spot. They are starting to make their long journey to African countries, asking for gas, asking for oil, asking for even coal. It's been reported. And why it's funny, or why this is a story, is because just before this conflict, they were forcing African countries to stop exploring these natural resources, to take them out. They were saying no taking out, no selling, no exporting, no using them, no making money out of them. Because why? Because we need to go green. We need to preserve our earth. We need to go green and protect, or what do they call it? Clean energy. We need to move to cleaner energy. But guess what? Once this Russia and Ukraine conflict happened, and they're not accessing what they're used to as easily as they want, now their chancellors, their representatives, their foreign ministers are making their way to Africa, visiting Senegal, visiting Ghana, asking for the same natural resources they told us not to explore because it's bad for the earth, to now take it out and sell it to them. So what's funny is, when Africans, and I remember reporting this, I believe last year, the Ghanaian minister calling out Western nations, he was saying, US is telling us, do not take out your oil when we need to take that, and like we need to feed our people. How do they expect us to make money? This is insane. They want us to go greener. They want us to move to clean energy, but how do we survive? We're not a rich country. And I remember him saying that and me reporting that. But then now, it's like, who cares about Earth? Who cares about going green? Like, we need it. If we need it, we're going to get the natural resource that we. So this tells you, when Africa needs to feed its people, No one cares. It's not an issue. They want us to stop exploring our own God-given natural resources. But when they need it, it's okay. I mean, principles, values for what? We need the natural resource. So this just explained or showed perfectly the double standards and the hypocrisy they have towards Africa.
And basically, that's how capitalism works, right? You really don't care about morals, values, even your principles, right? So if the principles like, hey, don't dig out this coal because of climate change, hey man, if you need this coal, dig all of it, burn all of it, right? The Western countries have no moral values. It's just exploitation and to appease their people so that they let them be in power, right? Because like and they keep saying, the West are afraid of their citizens, right? And they'll do anything, they'll steal anything to make them happy, right? So so when it comes to principles, they don't care. They can, like I'm saying, if let's say they don't get even enough oil from Africa or Russia, you say they're going to Venezuela, a country they've been trying to sanctioning and demonize for years, right? You can even see them going to North Korea, right? Like they don't have values, they don't have principles, just anything to get ahead and exploit or take. So yeah, that's basically it. Like I don't think it's even a double standard. I think that's just their standard.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the standard. They do anything. They do anything for anything. That's it. And that's how their economy works. That's how their culture is. They, yeah. So there's this like it's called an indie movie, right? That they just stumbled upon. Like it's an old movie. I think a 70s movies, right? So it was like aliens came on Earth, and they said like they're not here to like destroy Earth or like do any wars, but they would exchange all their knowledge, infinite energy, like their technology and their science, if they give all the people with certain amount of melanin, right? So if like the Earth gives the aliens all black people or all African people, like they'll give the people who are remaining all the resources, all the technology and infinite energy, right? So at the end of the day, like the arguments they were making is just like what's happening now. So like they can sell or do anything just to get ahead, and that's the type of society that the West is. So in that movie, they ended up like they did a referendum, and they ended up selling off all black people to the aliens. So it's a movie, but most
That's
like
so weird.
some movies are usually social, just social commentaries on the current situation. And if a situation like that happens, right, and we are sold off to aliens, would you be surprised one bit?
No.
You see, yeah. So that's the kind of world that we live. We live.
Yeah,
They sold us before, like they sold us before to each other, right? What's stopping them from selling us to aliens? So yeah.
no,
So that's
I'm sure they'll be very happy to get rid of us. But
yeah.
let me respond to this comment, and I want you to respond to one comment I saw passed by, but I'll look for it. This
Okay.
one, living inside out, said, why is it that Africa listens and still deals with Western countries? This isn't new. This is what did they say? My eyes. Continuous behavior. Okay. So my thing is, yes, I agree with you. We still deal with them, and my thing is not about dealing with them. What I have an issue with is dealing with them with a win-lose situation, with us losing all the time and them winning, or with unfair contracts, unfair treatment. What we want in this world is equality, right? So for me, for example, the example I can give you is just now the German chancellor last week was in Senegal begging for gas, right? The same thing they were telling us, yo, hold it off. We need to transition to clean energy. So he was there asking for more. And what did Macky Sall, the president, say? Cool. That's cool. We see you need it, but what I'm gonna tell you is the terms need to change. I'm gonna need you to pay up more. So for me, how I look at it is, we're rich with natural resources, but if we're not able to explore them and sell them, first of all, of course, prioritize each other within the continent and sell to each other, that should be the priority. But when it comes to them needing us, then we take advantage. Then we say, I want you to buy from me 100 times what you were paying me before, because it was not fair. It was not just how the contracts were drafted. So for me, I want us to benefit I want us to get every cent, if not more. I want us to be profitable. I'm not here to say cut all the ties with them. We need to get our money, get us our bags, give us our bag. The issue is the mistreatment, the racism, not giving us what we're worth, not, they'd rather concoct a conflict and steal that than actually paying what they're supposed to. So that's the issue that I want to address, and I like what Macky Sall said. But there was one comment I wanted you, Michael, to respond to. This Esther
Esther
comment. Yeah.
Okay, so this one, the green. This one, the greens are
something like Africa is not the only one with the mineral resources. Something like that. So I want you to respond and tell them, maybe, on a scale of if we have to put it percentage wise, the few examples that come to my mind is Guinea producing I forgot that. It's so hard, that mineral. Okay, I forgot. DRC, maybe cobalt. You see what I'm trying to say? Reserves, and the biggest are in Africa. Maybe there are in the Western world that we haven't explored it. I don't know. But what we know for sure is there are many reserves here on the continent.
I think Africa has 60 to 70% of all natural resources, right? And when it comes to other things, these things that they call them rare earth elements, right? Those ones are quite valuable, and it's Africa that has majority, especially the DR Congo, right? And the things the ones that are developing this information age that we're going through, things like cobalt, things like lithium, right? So those are the most valuable one, and that's why everybody is doing anything to get these resources, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I think Esther is saying you have misunderstood. Maybe that's not what she was trying to say.
So but basically Africa has so much resources and so much land. We were it's funny that Africa cannot feed itself, right? That's the current situation. And Africa has so much arable land, more than I think 4 times more than the rest of the world combined. And the reason why Africa cannot feed itself is by design, not because we can't grow foods to feed ourselves. No, it was by design, so that these multinational companies like Nestle and Unilever can keep selling things to us, right? Can keep importing these processed foods to us. So so some things are done on purpose to continue the exploitation process. Thank
you. Aluminium is what I was trying to say. I was told I can't say. How do you say aluminium?
Aluminium.
Okay, I say it wrong, and people keep reminding me. That's not how you say it. Us in Ethiopia, we say aluminium.
But I think Americans usually say aluminum.
And then there's neum or something. Yeah.
British people always say aluminium. So yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but don't worry, these languages are not ours. So
I
you can
know,
say
I know,
you can
I
say
know.
it, you can say it the way.
But I try to do them justice. Like if that's how you're supposed to say it, I try. I attempt. But if I can't, then it is what it is.
Mm. Okay, so who's having the next story?
Okay, it's
Me.
me or you? Yeah,
Oh, it's it. Yeah, like I think it's me. So
yeah.
mine is yeah, and also we're still in this exploitation of Africa. So this week also sad news. Southern African countries agreed to push
Mm.
for a lift on the ivory trade. Like they want, like these Southern African countries like Zambia, Namibia, Botswana. Like South Africa wasn't part of it, right? So at least that's a good thing. So this Zimbabwe, they want to start selling ivory. So the argument is that they've stockpiled so much ivory from the dead elephants over the decades, right? And instead of them burning them, they can sell it so that they can have enough money to continue conserving the live elephants. So they're saying all the ivory they have are from naturally dead animals, right? Rhino horns and like ivory. No animal was hunted or killed for this. So they say instead of just burning them or keeping them in stores, they can sell them, right? Yeah. So maybe the intention is good, but the result will be disastrous because once you start up that market for the ivory trade, once it's legal to sell ivory, how would you know the legal one, the one that died naturally, and the one that was just murdered, right? And it's also dangerous. Africans still wanting to sell their culture and heritage to the West because that's basically it. They just want money. They just want the dollar, right? And they'll do anything. So next time maybe they may even want to sell their children, right? As long as they're being paid for. How? Yeah. So yeah. So what do you think of that?
Is there? Okay. I don't know like medicine, like I don't know how they do it, this forensic, like is there a way to find out, is there a way it can be certified, the same way when we buy products or when they're being sold in a country, they say, okay, this has been checked, it's approved, this is not bad for you, or this has been by the Kenyan authority, whatever, right? So is there a way, is there an expert that is involved in things? Because as you said, like how are they going to know for sure if this wildlife was hunted or it actually died? Like I'm pretty sure though with the ivory you can tell how old they were, right? Mostly they might die from an old age if it's a young elephant. Like why did it? I don't know. I feel like there can be, it might be expensive, but there might be ways they can really figure out how it was discovered or how they found that ivory.
Like there've been so many ways. Even some that they are stained, some they track the DNA. But with these things, ivory is you get ivory, you carve it into something. There's no way that somebody's going to go to your home and check your check your sculpture if
Mm,
it's right. So for me, I think it's like a Pandora's box. Like once you just allow
yeah,
it once, it's like
yeah,
it's gloom and doom for the elephants. And the
yeah.
funny thing is that the elephant population has just been growing, recovering, and also Mother Nature is powerful. Mother Nature knows best. They're like in Botswana and in Zimbabwe because of so much poaching and all. There are some elephants that are growing without tusks, right? So yeah,
Really?
yeah, yes, yeah. They've
Oh,
they've realized have tasks. I don't live till like even past 20. So they've just genetic like natural selection, right? So
wow.
the ones that don't have tasks are the ones that end up living and spreading their DNA, right? So over time, they started realizing more and more elephants are being born without tusks. So I'm hoping Mother Nature can beat the humans this time and no elephants have tusks so that we no longer bother them, right? Mm. Unfortunately for
And they're
rhinos,
such gentle animals. Well, I know they can stomp on you and kill you and stuff, but
yeah,
they like I watched a documentary and it was showing how this mother, like he raised her I forgot which country was. So it was on National Geography. So he raised her. This man raised this elephant, and when she was grown and she's like big, he let her go to the wild. So she lived her life a few years. I guess she had babies. After a few years, she came back and pushed
Mm.
the babies towards him so that, he sees her babies. Like she was so proud to show him her babies, like to a
Uh,
human being. That's an
like
intelligent animal.
elephants are so intelligent. They are the few animals
Yeah.
that actually grieve, right? They grieve. They're one of the few animals that actually hold funerals, right?
Oh,
And there are a few animals that actually cry, like the tears, like when they get hurt or they have a fight, they actually cry, right? So it's it's so sad that you're seeing like grown men selling their culture, their heritage just for money, right? And I'm sure maybe there's some people who actually think it will help conservation, but no. Some things should just be like a complete ban. Yeah. So then, and this is the thing. There's this trend of going back in time, like trying to appease these Western countries, right? Trying to do anything for money, and yeah, like as you said in our previous topic, it's the same, right?
yeah. And I remember the story in Kenya, so I'm sure you can tell us more about it. A few years ago, of like rhinos, the white rhinos or something that were
Mm.
the last ones or very few last ones that they were supposed to be protected, and then they were found dead, and there was this whole controversy behind it. Am I remembering correct?
Yeah, yeah,
A few
yeah,
years.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
was the
So
story?
yeah, so if you can remember, they were trying to conserve this. I think there were 7 rhinos, right? So the government, and this was like a major failure from the government, right? So I think if I'm not wrong, I think the government moved them from one area to another area, but they didn't do like an investigation or a survey of the area. Then they drank, I think, some water with the wrong pH or some like the wrong salt, and it messed with their system, and they just dropped dead, right? Because like animals evolve to live in a certain environment. You can just move an animal just like that. And yeah, 7 endangered elephant died, not because of poaching, not because of greed, just because of ignorance, right? And that's such a waste, because like it will have just been some guy doing his homework and be like, hey, that's not a safe
Yeah.
area for this animal. Yeah, yeah. So so
Yeah,
so
because
so so
I remember them saying they were like the last in the world or something. It was very significant.
and also like I come from the conservation world. I worked in UNEP for like more than 5 years, right? And most of the projects that were going on were some highly unrealistic, right? Just things
Oh,
on paper, and some just a way to spend money, right? Your budget is almost running out. You need to show something, so you keep your job. So you just throw money at a project to, yeah. So most of these conservation efforts, if it's not done by Africans and the community, the local community, they just amount to nothing, right? Like even if these African countries agree on the ivory trade, if it's not done with the local communities who are the ones who pick up the ivory, right? Like it will just be some politicians who will benefit 100% from this trade, and the local communities will, like the ones who face elephants and have conflict with elephants because of like their farms and stuff, will end up with nothing, right? Because like it would make sense if like that ivory you give to somebody, a farmer who the funds from that selling that ivory, you give to a farmer who's and like a herd of elephant trampled and ate all his harvest, right? Right? If it's used to compensate somebody like that, like the idea is actually not so bad. I'm not saying the idea is good, but it's not so bad, right? The elephant is dead, it's dead naturally. This thing will be burnt or just kept in storage indefinitely. So maybe sell it, give that money to somebody who was affected by elephants, right? But knowing this world and the type of people who are in charge of making these decisions, that person wouldn't even get a cent. Even if this elephant trampled his whole family, you will not even get funeral money for that, right? So yeah, so for me, it's like just don't do it. It's not
yeah.
it's not good. Yeah.
It's not worth it.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not worth it. And the people who benefit are not you or me or the communities. It'll just be some politicians and some expatriates and some diplomats, right? You know.
Yeah, and also it's huge especially in the East. Like the same way we see diamonds, they see this ivory and tusk. Oh, yeah, tusk. So that's how important it is for them. In reality, us Africans, I don't know, maybe there's a culture or a tribe or a country that values them a lot, but from what we see, it's them that really love them, and they're the ones mostly when you find illegal, poaching. It's usually there's a Chinese guy behind, or like, because for them they're valuable. For us, it's
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
oh, okay, something like a bone thingy.
Yeah. And it's right because like the task, a task or the rhino horn. It's like it's nothing. It's just bones and like nail
Yes,
filings. Like
for
it's nothing
us.
special. Yeah. No. Even like in general, like it's
No,
just
for
that.
them though, they make necklaces. It's like a diamond. Like from what I hear in the East, it's a value, but it has
Yeah. They
value.
think. Like they think it's like it has special magical things. They think it
Yeah,
helps
yeah.
them. It helps them. Yeah. But now to remove that false like fallacy, right? If you're a Chinese person and you want to buy rhino horn, just know your nails are they're made exactly the same way a rhino horn is made, right? Your bones are like you might as well go get a cow bone and like instead of ivory, right? So they're just like useless things, and you should leave those animals alone. They'll not help you. They'll not make you to be better in bed, like how they claim, right?
But you see, perception is reality, and for them, if they
Yeah.
perceive that to be good luck, or like,
The,
this makes me the richest, or like look the best, they are gonna do
the,
their best to get it.
but they should start unlearning like that false narrative, because I'm sure it's just some Chinese guy who was trying to call another Chinese guy like, hey, if you smell this, you'll last 10 times longer in bed. Those things, right? And it's just it's like there's nothing special about rhino horns. There's nothing special about ivory, right? It's just that like marketing, right? Like another example, like when it comes to diamonds, right? There's so much diamonds on this planet. Like diamonds actually not that valuable. It's just that the people who mine them control their distribution and make them valuable, right? Like diamonds are used so much in just basic industry. Most drills that are used to drill these tunnels and what they're like diamond tip, like a big diamond tip. You can easily make artificial diamonds, like they're called zirconia, and it's very
Yeah,
and
nowadays,
it's
yeah.
like it has technically no difference with the real diamond, right? So this idea of creating fake value on something to exploit other people, it's the same way for the rhino horn, right? As I said, the rhino horn and your nail are just the same. It's keratin, right? It will make you, unless eating your nails turns you into a superhero, right? I'll start buying rhino horns, right? So we need, as Africans, it's our job to tell these people, leave our stuff alone. It will not help you, right? Because like most Chinese actually, and I don't just mean Chinese people. Most people in East Asia, right? The Japanese, South Koreans, people from Thailand, Vietnam, right? They actually believe these things usually have special properties or special luck or medicinal values, right? But they like in reality they don't. So once they fix their culture, it will be beneficial to us because the market for the ivory and that will disappear. Yeah, that's God
Um,
willing. I hope. I hope.
yeah, unfortunately, we can't make them change their culture. We can't, we can't do all those things. What we can is maybe, do our part. That is hold our politicians, governments accountable when they're, making this kind of deals. The same thing we
Mm.
talked about in South Africa, because we can't. We have no control, no power over what they believe in, what they don't believe in. Maybe what we can
Mm.
try and do is influence our own people into seeing this, like into seeing a bigger picture. What would it look like for, South Africa, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Kenya, if they lose their wildlife, if they lose all their elephants, rhinos, what will happen? What will happen to the ecosystem? What will happen to tourism? What will happen? So creating that awareness, I guess, is all we can do for now.
Yeah. Creating value and stricter laws, right? So that like a poacher will be like, is it like worth me risking my life to sell this ivory to this Chinese trader, right? Or this Vietnamese trader? Yeah. So stricter laws, and now you see a complete ban, no loopholes, nothing. So if you just caught with ivory, like you have no excuse. You can't be like, oh, this is the legal ivory they were talking about, right? So it's like it should be a total ban on ivory, right? The same way for cocaine, right? You can't just be with cocaine. You're like, oh no, this is the legal cocaine from America, right? Like I don't think like it will make enforcing laws useless. Yeah. So
Yeah.
The next story.
Okay. So the next story is about. Okay, I think you're done with the news, right? I'm done with the news.
Yeah. For me, I'm done with that.
Yeah, so me too. So the last story, I'm not sure if you've opened the link or
let me get it.
Okay, let me tell them what it's about, and then you'll show them. So married women, I believe this is in Nigeria, were seen protesting, like out on the streets, properly protesting young girls because of their indecent dressing, and they claim that they are snatching their husbands away. So watch the clip and we'll talk about it.
Okay, let's see. Okay.
They don't collect all their husbands, they don't vex. All these girls, they using the same dress and they collect their husband. Women don't vex like this. So. I swear. They don't collect all their husbands, they don't vex. All these girls, they hear what? They wear skirts.
So let me remove this. Okay, so.
Okay. Yeah, okay. We're back. So this one, I want to give it to you first because I want to understand from a man's perspective. These women obviously are females. I get their emotions, I get their frustrations. But before I tell you what my thoughts are, I want to know from your side, does it really matter? As a man, of course, you're not going to represent every man that's walking around, but as a man, does it matter to you that like there's a person that is nearly naked, wearing a mini skirt, wearing a tank top or a crop top? Like, does it really matter what women wear? Do you think it changes how men see women when they're dressed differently?
Let me. Okay. Like so, here there are like two answers, right? Because there's so much sexualization of women, right? So like and their bodies, and that's everywhere you see in the media and like in everything, right? So that one, of course, influences somebody growing up, right? So they make you be attracted to a certain type of look, a certain type of figure, right? Yeah, and that one mostly influences you, right? But the thing that like the women are protesting about, that the men are cheating, that like they're cheating with them with young girls who are dressing scantily, right?
Yeah, they're accusing them of snatching their husbands away by dressing inappropriately.
Yeah, so for me, like I think it's more like it's more of a mental thing. So like a man would choose like somebody for so many reasons, right? So it can't just be one reason, like just you see a young girl dressed a certain way, that's enough. So it can be financial, it can be what, maybe mentally, maybe like midlife crisis or something. So there's so many reasons why it can happen, and blaming young people, the dress of young people, like is like wouldn't even work, right? Because they can be dressed in a full hijab, right? And a man would still go for them, not because of like how they look. It's just that maybe my point is that you shouldn't blame the women for a decision the men are making. So they should go and protest their men. Why are their men like so weak or so lustful, right? Because until they are going to the streets to complain, I think if those women were dressed in full hijab or like as decent as possible, they would still be attracted to them. So maybe that's more of a, they should maybe, like how they say, keep their bedroom matters like in the bed and not take it out publicly. So so that's the take on it.
I am with you on that part when you're saying like they shouldn't blame the women. They should blame their husbands. Who made a commitment to you? Who, promised you that he'll be there with you in sickness or in health? Who promised you to take care of you, always be with you till you guys die? So at the end of the day, the first blame and the person that you need to talk to, you need to drag, you need to protest is your own man, right? I'm with you on that. But I also don't want to minimize how we approach, let's say, how we show the world who we are. Or what I'm trying to say is, I do believe it has impact the way we carry ourselves, right? The way we make it accessible to men. Because if that man didn't think it's easy to get this girl, it's easy maybe because she's young or easier, or maybe she's dressed up that way and he expects it to be easier because maybe with his wife there's some, like their relationship is different. So I do understand like it has an impact, but I am a firm believer that we all have every right to dress how we like. Even though, my choice might be conservative, but it doesn't mean that I have to push that opinion or that ideology on someone, right? But I also feel the women, like my emotional side, my feminine side is like, oh, poor thing. Like, I get that you're sad, but at the same time, that protest should be directed towards your man. And maybe those girls needed a good father figure. Maybe those girls like needed to respect themselves first. I feel like we need to answer these questions as a society, as a community, because the same women that are protesting are raising young women, are raising young boys. Are you raising your young boys to idolize or just follow this kind of girls that don't have any clothes on? Like, as a society, we all of us have individually have some kind of accountability to take. So these men are choosing these young girls that are easier or like more naked, as the women said, indecent dressing, that are flaunting whatever they have. There's a reason behind it, and I think we need to address, like, the same way we talk about politics, the same way we talk about economics. I believe even society and culturally, there are so many conversations that need to be had, because it's the same society that is supposed to take over government tomorrow, take over the social, social institutions, take over the civil institutions. So I think we need to dig deeper and really understand, why are the men acting this way? Why are the young girls seeking attention of a married man? Like, that's bad on its own. There's an issue that needs to be addressed. Why are you all up in the case of a married man? Even you need some healing, right? So I think all parties have some, reflection to do, and they need to figure this thing out, because clearly those women are sad. I feel bad for them, but they can only blame their husbands.
And also, in reality, you might have found maybe the ringleader of the women is the one that is the husband is the one who got taken by a young girl, and like encourage the rest of the women to protest. So these things you never know. Until it was just like, hey, you guys, we're in this together, right? So also like the way I don't know, they're accusing them of being scantily dressed or anything like Zulu women and Zulu young girls. They dress they're bare chested, a small skirt, and that's their culture. Like that's how they dress. And you don't see men. You don't see all of the men leaving their wives to go to the young girls. So, like as I said, it's not about the dressing. It's not about the age. It's about the like somebody's like mentality. So what they want. So yeah.
Exactly. Culturally, even in Ethiopia, in Gambella, or there are other tribes that literally walk naked. As in, yes, underneath they cover, but like half naked, I guess you can say. And no one is looking at them that way. Like that's how they show. That's their attire, basically. The beads they have on, the color, the makeup, like they concoct their own makeup and put it on. That's how they're perceived. But again, what kind of society did they create for themselves? That's what they created for themselves. Now ours, if we're talking about specifically me and yours, or the millennials, or the ones that are living in the urban areas, that's not the case though, because you are not seeing, Michael, you are not seeing a half naked woman every day. Like that's not the norm for you. So when you see that, of course it's going to register as a different thing, right? But those people, that culture, they see that all day, every day, and that's something that's been programmed in them.
But with media and internet and TV, like, don't we see?
No, if you go look for it, of course you'll find it. I mean, if you walk out right now outside of your house, you're not gonna see that, right? But in this society, in this tribe, that's all you see. Like it's abnormal to put on clothes. So the men are not thinking, ooh, because that's the norm. The same thing when you go to a beautiful place, first day, second place, the first day, second day, third day, you're like, wow, this is so gorgeous. And then after a week, it's like, that's the norm. That's like, it's not out of the ordinary for you. Same thing. It's not for this society. So we need to be mindful of that as well.
Yeah, definitely. And now like also how the media sexualizes women, like especially for this new generation. That's like messing with the minds, especially of young people, right? So you wouldn't think that something is like even supposed to be like sexualized, right? But because you've seen it on TV, like a girl with a short skirt is now, you should notice that. But before, maybe you're living in a community where all the women had like short skirts only, right? Yeah, and for you it was normal. But when you look at the media of how it's portrayed, like it's a big deal or it's wrong, like it changes with your like thinking and So like the media influences. Like I think Western media and African culture are just at odds, and I don't think they can ever work. Yeah. So that's
let's stop forcing it. Let's just stop forcing it.
So okay. Any last topics?
No, that was the last topic, the light topic I've picked for us, and I think we had a really good conversation. And from my side, I'm done.
Okay. So thank you guys for joining us on our podcast, and like our podcast will soon be available on like these other platforms like Spotify, Google Podcast, so you can listen to us like even more. And let's say again, thank you for enabling us to reach 1 million subscribers. And our secret video of how you can also achieve that will be coming out, I think this weekend, right? Tomorrow. We'll post it tomorrow. So have a listen, and like you'll find out how Tunachiki started, the tricks, tips we used to get where we were. So if you're interested in becoming a creator, you can just follow what we did, add your own touches and bits, and like I think only success that will be ahead of you. Yeah, so
I can't wait to watch it as well, because I need the secret sauce. We need to reach 1 million as well.
And before I forget, everybody, please go to Wangel's channel and subscribe. Make sure you watch 3 or 4 videos, mostly 4, right? Yeah, in a row. And comment and like. That always helps. Always helps us. And that's the best gift you can give us. You can donate. You can become a member. But the best gift and the free gift, the easiest, is just watch our video, like it, comment, and share to a friend and family. It's free, and it helps us way more than you can ever imagine. So please do that for Wangel, and soon we'll be celebrating like 100,000, right?
Amen.
So other than that, maybe before we leave, you can tell us about a bit about the YouTube event that we went to.
Ooh, okay. It was focused on YouTube Shorts, right? Like it's about utilizing YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts is like Reel for Instagram, or like TikTok, a shorter version of YouTube videos. Instead of watching these long videos, you might want to watch just a snippet, or like a compilation of whatever the content creator you would like to watch post. So it was focused on that, but there were so many content creators. There were so many people that I have seen on the screen, and now I'm seeing face to face. And I was like, oh, okay. It's nice to mingle and see and meet people. And also Michael was a panelist, and he was giving some gems here and there, and it was nice to watch that. Ooh, I forgot, there was a competition I won.
Yes.
How do I forget? There was a competition, and I'm very competitive. I'm sure Michael saw that day.
Let me try to find the video so that they can see what we did.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. But the editing, like something wouldn't allow me to edit. So at the end, you can't hear what I'm saying, unfortunately. But it won. I won the competition, and it was such a good feeling, to be honest.
So let me see if I can.
You're looking for it?
Okay.
Okay.
Like the video was such a beautiful video. We have to see it.
Okay.
So
you can open for them. You can open for them. So the concept was about being confident, and and also we're all African, like African voices on YouTube. So if you find it, you can open for them. Until then, I can say thank you, Kemite. Thank you, Solomon. We see you. Thank you, Al. Thank you so much. Living Inside, everyone that contributed. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Uhuru Gardens tuko jaba, wengine wako miti, zetu ni majaman, zenu pikipiki, leo tunaenda kanan, beba zigi mingi, kakuna mamadam, beba sidi mingi, ni mimi hapo back left, paparazzi, wane hapo, yeah.
So that was.
Yeah, that was a phone actually. That was really nice.
Cool. So like for me, my take is that we should be having more and more of these kind of events where African creators come together and collaborate and share more, because it's really good to see what other creators are doing and learn, right? Because for me, like I learned a lot, so that's always good.
Yeah, me too. I learned a lot. I also learned I'm gonna make a lot of shorts going forward. So
definitely. I'd encourage all of you to start using shorts. You don't need many subscribers. Just make a short, tell your African story. Yeah. And with that said, you guys have a good weekend. Remember, Africa is watching.
And stay blessed.
Bye.
Bye.